now.
All right.
One take, right?
Yeah, it should be.
Welcome back to another week's episode of Talks with Johnson. As usual, I'm Johnson Celestin.
I'm Joshua Sachko.
And today, we're with...
Brother Cody.
Brother Cody is crazy. Brother Cody is crazy. As you guys may know, if you don't know, Cody right here. I met him when I was 12, and he might not even remember this.
Yeah, don't.
I was 12 years old, and I was playing the keys for a church service. And he walks in, and you know how when musicians for churches walk in, they kind of come with a posse?
Yeah.
And he came with a little posse. It was him, a drummer, and then they hopped. They're sitting in the back, and I'm playing something. I'm like, wow, I'm playing real weak right now. And I'm like, I can't be playing like this. And then I'm like, okay, you know what I should do? I should tell him to come over and play. And then my cousin was on drums, DJ Lodak was on drums. And then you pulled up, you came, you played for one song. Then you went back to your seat, and I was like, yeah, I don't even want to play no more. I don't even want to play for. But one of the reasons why we have my friend Cody, or Tico as he goes by as well, on this podcast is so we could just talk about what he's about and what the movement is. If you don't know what the movement is yet, you will. After this conversation, tune into his Instagram, which is
OG Cody 101_.
long Instagram. But tune in just so we could talk and see what the movement is about. So, what is the movement? Who are you? And what are you about?
Well, thank you guys first of all for having me on your podcast.
Of course.
Well, if you guys don't know, my name is Cody. I'm a musician. I'm a man of God. And I'm just somebody who loves music, to be honest. I started the movement, about, I'll say, 3 to 4 years ago. God gave me a vision to just honestly start a movement with a bunch of young people who really don't have the chance to show their gifts and talents. So pretty much I started with about, I'll say, 6 singers, and now today we have about 30 people. The movement's big. It's pretty big. I thank God. And it's growing every day people are asking me to be a part of it. Every day people want to donate. Every day people just want to just see the movement be bigger and bigger and bigger, to be honest. So,
What is it? Like, what is, you say the movement. I was struggling to explain to my friend Josh what the movement was like in the beginning. Like, what is the movement? If you want me to explain it to somebody and you want me to say what it is, what it's about, because I'm a part of the movement as well. So it's like, how do I explain? How do you explain the movement? What does it mean to you?
The movement is an experience. What I mean by that is, I know a lot of times we say it's a group of singers, a group of musicians, but I don't really look at it that way. The movement's all of us. It's everybody. Whoever comes, whoever watches online, whoever watches on Instagram, whoever watches on YouTube, we're all the movement. It's not just Soson's the movement, Cody's the movement, Jeff's the movement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all of us together. I look at it as a special moment where we come together to give God the praise and glory that He deserves. What I mean by that is, a lot of times we all go to our own churches. You go to church, I go to church, everybody in the group goes to church. But there's like a disconnect within the youth and their church a lot of times, where it's like the youth feels like they cannot do what we do in the movement at their home church. And by me seeing that over and over again, or people even coming to me, it's like, yo, I love what the movement is. It's a bunch of young people just having fun for God.
Yeah.
That's what the movement is. A bunch of young people showing their gifts and talents, just having fun for God.
So you would say it's like a more modern version of like a church where younger people could go to and have more fun and really have a better connection with God.
Correct. I wouldn't say it's a church, because we always say that the movement's not a church. Mm-hmm. But I get what you're saying. Yeah. It's kind of like a bunch of young people coming together, just worshiping God.
I call it a ministry.
A ministry.
I'd say it's a ministry. One of the reasons why I joined is why I wanted to be a part of it isn't necessarily only because of this idea of, the experience, but what you said before about not having it at your home church. My home church, so I'm a part of a Haitian community, right? So the movement is basically Haitian based, and I want to have a youth. Like when I was in school, in high school, I had a choir. You know, I had a mass choir, and personally, my church youth isn't really there anymore. Because one thing I'd like to say, well, one thing I can say about the Haitian community is Haitian churches are very difficult depending on like the leadership roles, and because it comes from an environment of toxicity, and you could say the same thing with like with the Jewish community too, because you're Jewish, where it's like.
But why? How come you've been seeing like a decline in youth attending church?
It's because of the structure. Like the structure of Haitian churches is crazy.
Sometimes
yeah,
a lot for the youth today.
I agree.
This generation,
it's extra. It's extra.
There's a lot of extra things that's not necessary.
Is you know how your, for example, like I know his dad personally, right? You know how your dad is working on being more receptive of information, being okay and cool, stuff like that. The thing about Haitian communities is my dad, maybe his dad, but a lot of Haitian pastors as well that is like our father, it's very hard for us to come to them and say, I feel some type of way with the way you address me. I feel some type of way with the way you talk to me.
So they need to be like more open-minded?
Yeah, but they're not gonna be open-minded. They're not going to be.
Haitian,
that's the problem.
The thing with Haitians, especially in churches, they don't believe in change. It's
Yeah,
hard for a Haitian.
they don't believe in change. That's
Why?
facts.
Because they grew up like that?
They grew up like that, and they
Yeah.
just feel like what they do is correct.
Correct. It's irrefutable.
Yeah.
It's irrefutable. It's like my way is the way. And
Or there's no way.
or there's no way. And they'll try and make it. The problem with Haitian churches too is they kind of manipulate it in a way too. They'll say like if you don't do it my way, you're also disobeying God.
But what does
and
their
that's not
way
true.
like lead to? What's like the end goal for their way?
Their end, their
To heaven. That's their
to
end
heaven,
goal.
bro. That's
To be
their
honest,
end goal.
Everybody's end
Just,
goal.
but they're strict with it. OD,
Very strict.
unrealistically, toxically strict with
Like
it.
if you don't follow this path,
Like they're delusional. I'm
So
just gonna call it
basically,
delusional. Like it's delusional. It's delusional.
Literally,
It's
if you don't
delusional.
follow their path, you're not going to heaven.
You're not going to heaven.
Like literally,
kinda
you're not
wild.
going to heaven. Like you're a bad person. You're terrible.
Yeah,
They'll start calling you every name, and it's like,
and it's hypocritical.
that's so
yeah.
wild.
It's
So
hypocritical.
That's not fair.
one thing in the movement, I try to stay away from my Haitian traits. We're all Haitian.
Like you still love each other. That's not the problem.
I mean, we still fall into the Haitian.
We
We
still
still fall into the
traits
Haitian wave.
for like time and stuff like
yeah.
that. But like at the end of the day, my main goal is to make people like Soson and everybody just feel
Comfortable.
Like I want everybody to have a say.
Comfortable.
I want everybody to be like, yo, this is not like my church.
Yeah.
Cody makes it a safe place. The movement is a safe place for us just to come, have fun, worship, laugh, vibe. That's what the movement is all about.
Yeah.
I try to leave all that Haitian cultural stuff behind us.
And it's very hard to do simultaneously because we're at the end of the day we're Haitian. So it's like
And we can't change
we can't change it. We are just more aware of it. So we try to be more open with the idea that we need to work on. And I tell Cody this all the time. We need to work on our communication skills.
Yep.
We need to work on our ability to talk with one another without it being an issue, because we get really defensive very quickly
About what?
about anything.
Just anything.
Anything.
That's how Haitians
That's how Haitians are. Like I do it. My parents do it to the
I
max.
do it, everybody-
You do it.
I do
You do it. You do it.
I do it.
You do it. But it's definitely something we're working with. So you see how the end goal with Haitian churches is about church and going to heaven and not going to hell, and one family generation after the other doing the same thing. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
And which is why they're strict, but that way is kind of toxic. So for that goal, for them, what's your goal with the movement long term as well? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is your end goal for people who watch it, people who are a part of it, people who
Conquering the world.
So I would say one of my end goals for the movement, truthfully, is for everybody just to receive a blessing from what we do.
right?
What I mean by that is I love when people come to me, either they're present at the event
Right.
or either online they're watching. They're like, yo, I took something away from that. Or
Right.
I did not. The way I came in, I didn't leave.
Yeah.
So obviously the movement is doing something different. Obviously when you come in, when you step foot into the movement's event, you're going to feel an atmosphere shift. Like you're going to
Yeah.
feel change within you, because like, yo, I haven't got this kind of worship
In a
prayer,
very
or
long time.
Very long
Very
time.
long time.
Type of energy.
You could just
Yeah.
come and be free. Where like in church, you cannot really come and be free.
And you can't dress. You
can't
can't
dress
dress
a
a certain
certain
way.
way. Your hair
You
gotta
can't-
be a certain way.
yeah.
The
You
movement
can't wear.
is-
You can't wear jewelry. You can't
wear
do this. You
necklaces.
can't do
There's
none of
always
that.
something.
Do you have to be Haitian though in order to be part of the movement?
No.
No. You don't have to be. It's definitely a place where it's a mix of
mix.
English songs, and we also touch our roots as well. So there's a lot of Haitian cultural songs as well. But the movement is really inviting to people in general. It's just being in the
It's a family,
atmosphere
to
alone
be honest.
is something that is worth
There's
being a
many
part
people
of.
that's not Haitian that came before.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love my roots, my Haitian songs. Like I love doing it, but I try. And one of my goals is to try and add more English songs for the people who come, because there's a lot of people who are not Haitian who love
Facts.
the movement. I'm not gonna lie.
Facts.
So it's like I gotta try and like step away a little from my Haitian culture and try to do more American stuff, different genres, and all that good stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say something. Hold up.
Nah, you good. I feel like one thing I want to say about the movement. Another reason why I joined as well. Besides, toxic
I just remembered.
hatred. Too late. in terms of like Haitian culture being toxic, etc. It's because I felt like I was straying away from my spiritual side, from my connection with God, because I didn't find happiness in doing it at my own church. Like I'd go, okay, I'm here for the service, and I leave. And when the movement was something that's more of like something that's elective, like it's you're a part of it, you're happy to be a part of it. It doesn't matter how you dress. Women can wear pants in our culture.
Yeah,
That's it's a problem because we're also American. So we're Americanized Haitians. We accept and we understand our culture, but we also have our own culture that we're creating and adjusting to here. So we want to use what we have in a past of Haitian influence, but also have our American influence, where it's a free space, a no judgment area, where it's like we're good, we're safe. You could come as happy as you want to be, come how you want to be, respectfully, and not feel like you're going to be attacked, and just worship. And that's something that I really love with the movement personally.
I love it.
But what were you going to say? If
I was gonna say, like, how are you spreading the movement? Like, how is it getting to people that are like? Is it just Connecticut? Is it spreading to like other states?
That's a
as
valid
well?
question.
Like,
That's
how
a
are you
very
spreading the
valid
word?
question.
That's a valid
All right, well, no, it's not just Connecticut. To be honest, I already have a big name for myself. Like, so I've been playing music.
He do. He's well known in the music community.
When I started the movement, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it wasn't really a problem for me to get like people to like watch or people to like join and stuff like that.
He has a little drummer clout. He has a little he has a little musician clout because he did walk around the churches and
I
play.
played a lot of places.
He's okay. He's okay.
I'm alright. Better. But so I feel like it's definitely not New York, because there's a lot of times when the events come, I even tell them there's people from Boston who come, people from Spring Valley, people from New Jersey, people from all over who comes. And I'm just like, wow, like you guys really like.
It's really touching everywhere.
It's touching everywhere.
That's amazing.
So it's like my social media plus the movement social media plus all their social media.
Word of mouth too, yeah.
Word of mouth. My sound engineers, my camera guys, everybody together. It's just like the word just gets out quick. It's like, yo, there's something dope going on at the studio. There's something dope
And
going
it spreads
on here.
fast.
And it spreads fast. Especially doing God's work, it's always going to spread fast.
And it's gonna keep spreading. It's gonna keep spreading.
It's got a huge community.
People gonna love it.
Keep
People gonna
spreading.
support. People gonna look out for you. People gonna. It's just a family. The movement's just a family, to be honest.
Facts. And I love how it's like younger people who are leading it. Because like I was saying before, I was straying away from my traditional spiritual side. Like I was straying away from my ability to be Christian, my ability to be to worship God. I was straying away from that because I didn't like the environment. And something that I learned is you can't heal from an environment that is causing you to feel damage. You can't heal in the environment that hurt you. So I wanted to heal and grow in a different environment, and when I come to the movement, I'm able to receive what I'm looking for. And I just love being able to be a part of that. And it's talented musicians, talented singers, talented sound engineers, talented camera people, just together, just doing their thing.
The churches that like your parents go to or whoever goes.
My dad's my pastor.
Yeah, you're still going to see youth there. So what's the difference between the youth there and the youth that goes?
That's a valid question.
That's a very
That's a valid question.
That's a very good question.
The youth at my church barely exists to be. Well, this is my personal church.
But some of them are still there. So what's the difference?
They should come to the movement.
They do come.
No, they do come.
My
They
church,
do come.
I seen his church people there. I
Yeah,
seen my church people
they do
came
come.
from New York all the way here.
And how do their parents feel about that?
That's a valid
That's a valid
question.
question.
That's a valid question.
Honestly, the Haitian side probably like, oh, y'all gonna do some bad
stuff, yeah.
that night.
Yeah.
But in reality, they're really just coming just to worship God.
My mom, for example, my mom loves that I'm a part of something on my own terms. At first, she was kind of like, oh,
Skeptical.
like you're leaving your church to go do this and do that, and it makes me come back and realize your relationship with God is individual. It's not your parents and your aunts, your uncles, your church.
Do you really think that's true? Because they're going to church with a group of people.
That's not what I mean. Like, your salvation is personal.
Your salvation is personal.
You
Your
aren't
relationship
going.
with
God is personal.
That's not your mom's relationship. That's not your dad's
Yeah.
relationship.
Isn't that what it should be?
That's what I'm saying. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Your relationship with God is personal. So I don't go to church. Like, if I go to church because my parents want me to go to church, that's not my relationship with God. That's my parents creating a relationship for me. And according to our faith, like, unless you yourself have a relationship with Jesus Christ, you aren't on the road to salvation, right? So me going to the movement and me taking my own independence and doing things, if it's like, oh, I have church on a Friday, but I have rehearsal on a Friday, I have to come. Like, I'm taking what I feel like is better for my personal
And that's
salvation.
a great point you said, because the piggyback of what he just said and your question, a lot of kids were forced to go to church.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They were forced to go to church.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie.
My kids are going to church.
I
not gonna lie.
Yeah, my kids going to church.
I'm gonna try to go to church.
My kids are going to church.
They might end
Shout
up
out to my
changing,
mom,
but
who's gonna make sure that my
Yeah.
kids are going to church.
facts.
But I've been playing music since I was like 2 years old, so church was never an issue for me.
Literally
same.
came out of the womb playing drums.
Yeah, playing drums.
No,
literally.
facts. I've been playing piano since I was like 12. So that's the only thing. That's the only thing.
Honestly,
that kept us in church. Like, if I didn't have
I don't know
music,
where I would be
I would have left,
I'm
bro.
not gonna
I
lie,
would have left, bro.
I'm gonna be
If
honest,
if it wasn't for the fact that I was musically inclined and musically involved in the church,
Music just makes everything 10 times better.
it's not only that. It's like you're going into a toxic environment and you found peace in
found
something.
peace.
So
You
for
found joy.
some of our singers that are part of the movement, if they weren't singing, they would stay.
They wouldn't stay.
They wouldn't stay because the environment, you have to, there's like a balance, right? When you go to some Haitian churches, not all, when you go to some Haitian churches, you have the good side, you're playing music. Love playing music. The connection you have with another musician while you're there, beautiful. Connection you have with singers, you hear something fire, beautiful. But then once the music stops and it turns more to and that's one of the reasons why a lot of musicians, once they finish playing, they leave. Like, they leave because
like
it's
there's nothing else here for me.
right. And when they start, and it's worse when the leaders there start to kind of like attack you in a way where it's like they're talking about, you know what, these kids nowadays, they don't want to dress like this, they don't want to have their hair like this, they don't want to do this way. And again, with the Haitian community, if it's not the Haitian way, it's no way. So if that's what you're gonna hear every Sunday,
Micromanaging. It's like,
if that's what you're gonna hear, it's like I'm gonna take a step back. So because of music, that's the main reason why I was going to church. I didn't have a relationship with God. It was just that.
My relationship with God built over time because of like personal experiences,
Right.
and also like family problems and
Right.
all that good stuff. So it's like I had to tap into another level with God,
Right.
where my mom, shout out to my mom, sat down with me one day and really was like, yo, you need to put the music aside and start praying more.
Start finding
Start
God,
talking
bro.
to God and finding God.
Start finding
Or
God.
without that, you're nothing.
Yeah.
To be honest, because He gave me the gift. He gave me the gift to play music in church. So the least I could do is give Him the praise and the glory.
Right.
Talk to Him daily. Say thank you.
Make it personal.
Make it
Make it
personal.
And with the movement, you're able to do both.
The movement is
Movement,
something
you're able to do
I'm
both.
able to do both.
Yeah.
To do
Especially
both
with the wonderful people I have around me.
Yeah.
is doing both,
Is
bro.
doing both.
Yo, you should try and like sneak your parents into it.
Nah, my dad, I ain't gonna lie. My dad be on TikTok. He be like, yo,
Yeah.
that's my son. He's doing big things. Yo, that joint lit.
That's back to his question was like, how do your parents feel about it, et cetera, et cetera.
So it seems like it's like 50-50. Some parents are okay
Yeah,
with it.
my-
Some parents are ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
I feel like all of them over time. One thing I realized about Haitians is the more consistent you are with something, the more they're like, okay.
They're okay.
So
Once they see
like,
doing it, like my
yeah,
parents, like my mom and my dad, they be sitting in bed. They're like, yo, that's my son. We're
Yeah.
proud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's doing God's work. We don't want nothing else for him.
I play the movement in my house all the time, and they be like,
Yeah,
Who's
my
this?
mom plays that
Like, yeah,
shit
that's
all
us.
the time.
That's us.
My mom,
That's
outside
us.
people be sending me videos. They're in the car bumping it. I'm like, yo, like, it really be, it's something. So, our parents, I guess, like sometimes, probably in the beginning, they probably were like, what are these kids doing?
Yeah.
They're not taking God seriously.
Yeah.
But now they.
Or like you leaving your church to do this, da 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 da. Then
That's not one of my goals. That people leave their church and it comes to the movement.
yeah,
Not
because
that.
this isn't a church.
This isn't
It's a
church.
ministry.
It's a ministry. I still have my church activities.
I still go to my church
every Sunday.
activities. Yeah.
Wait, how'd you define a ministry?
I'd say a ministry is something where you have a spiritual goal. You have it's faith based, where you're trying to spread and preach the gospel, whether it's through singing, whether it's through preaching, whether it's through whatever it is, and that is your goal. Is just to basically say, this is Jesus Christ. This is how I'm going to worship Him.
Thank you.
And creating.
What's the difference
Thank
between
you.
that and a church?
A church is more of like an organization that has the same basis, because the church isn't the location, it's the people. It's basically the same thing. But the difference between a church and the movement ministry that I'd say, I'm talking as if I'm Cody, LOL.
You good?
But the difference. But I say my perspective of the difference between the church and the movement is you don't have the church commitments and like on the singers and music side in terms of like, oh, you have to give your tithes, you have to do this, you have to do this. There's a different structure for that. That's one. Two, church is mostly like you're interacting with everybody in the Haitian community. Like you're interacting with the elderly, and I'm not saying we're not ageist. We're not saying don't come if you're old. Like come to the movement.
There be grown people at the movement too.
Yeah, there's people. It's more of like the control is different. Like the ability for us to be free as young people in the movement, and the ability for us to do that in church is non-existent.
Yeah, it just makes sense. You wouldn't deny people from coming in.
Right.
I don't deny grandmas, grandpas.
Nah, nobody. The ministry itself is just something that is. It could be a church.
Yeah,
it could be. It could be a church.
Do I want to be a church? No.
That's a valid question.
I do not want to be a church.
Is there going to be a movement? The movement church? The movement church?
I don't think
Evangelist Johnson.
I don't think pastor is in my calling, to be honest. I think me just touching people with the movement. And the movement is not me. Like I said, I can't do without them. If I'm going to be honest, I can't do without anybody who's beside me. I need the people.
You need the people.
With the church, I feel like a lot of times the church gets lost in the business side of things. Where it's like, I don't want the movement to be no type.
Well, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, how are you guys raising money for this?
Yeah.
How does that work?
So,
if you're comfortable talking about it.
Yeah, you know.
Okay. So one thing I try to do is, besides them giving dues and stuff like
we
that,
do have dues.
Now that I finally have, like before that, I wasn't really into like the doing all those advertisements, all that stuff. But now it's like, okay,
you have
I have to, because like these things cost money. So one thing with me is, I don't know if you guys know, with Instagram Reels and stuff like that, if you touch 1 million views or more, you're gonna get paid money. So there's a lot of our videos, not for real. There's a lot of our videos that touch 1 million views. I got paid for it, to be honest.
And that's funding the movement, basically. Bro, why would we do that on camera?
I didn't know that first. It's Jeff who put me into that a while ago. So I was like, yo, that's why I try to put out more content. Down the line, I'm gonna try and do like, one thing Sosan always told me to do was do like gatherings, doing like events and stuff like that. Not like music movement events, but just like cookouts.
Yeah, things to raise money. There's ways to get out there and, you know, just fund. But there's a lot of money in the world, and there's a clean, respectful way to do that, to access it. Because at the end of the day, everything's going to cost money, whether it's a studio space, whether it's mixing, whether it's transportation-wise, whatever. At the end of the day, everything's going to cost money.
One thing I can always say is that money is never really an issue.
God got us, bro.
Because God got me, one, and two, like I've been saying, I'm surrounded by a lot of good people, where it's like, they see what we're doing and what I'm doing,
sponsor,
and they're like, "Yo, like Cody, no cap. Like, if the normal price for say a studio is this price, they're not gonna charge me that price. They're gonna give me a good discount, because like we love what you're doing. You're doing God's work, and like you're a good guy. You're a good man of God. So it's like, keep pushing, keep doing. I'm here to support you."
My dad, he always tells me, like all the time, find a passion. Find something that you don't, like you want to stay up all night doing, but then like when you eventually fall asleep because you can't stay up any longer, you get up as fast as you can, and all you want to do is this. Is this something that you see yourself doing?
This
Well,
is
this is
something
your
I see.
passion.
This is my passion.
Your
I
calling.
love doing it. When I
This
tell
is
you
fun.
I love doing it, like just by us coming here today, I'm like, yo, this is like, I'm happy. Like this makes me smile. I love seeing the smiles on their faces. I love getting text messages in the group chat. Everybody's like, yo, I'm excited. It just makes me happy. Just to see people's lives being changed. Just to see people come in having fun. And like I said, a lot of people don't get the opportunity to show what they got. There's a lot of talented people out there. Matter of fact, let me say a lot of gifted people out there. But it's like the world is so different and like sometimes evil. It's like a lot of people don't get the chance to show what they really got. And I feel like the movement, with the platform that I have, I can do that.
Are we gonna start seeing? Are we gonna start? What are the type of events and type of things that you're gonna start seeing more of within the movement to showcase these talentings or these gifts?
One of my goals is
like, are we another second part? Are we also going to do? Is the movement only gonna be more on like a platform basis all the time? Is it gonna be like a fundraising event in terms of like, or like events where we can go to different places together, go to different churches, do this? Or is it going to be like we come together, we have a recording, we put it out, and then we go home?
Okay, so one of my goals is for us to go out other places, not specifically for money.
Right.
If the money's there, okay, whatever. That's another conversation. But one of my goals is for the group to go out and actually, like, to be honest, minister to other youth,
Right.
to other churches and stuff like that. If somebody calls me and be like, hey, I want the movement to come do a fundraiser. You know what I'm saying? A worship experience or something like that.
Do you think churches will like support this? Like they'll put like posters up in their churches?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I feel like at the end of the day, the Haitian community, it's really like a flip side. It's like, yeah, they could be upset with something, then they realize the goodness of it behind, and now they're gonna support us crazy.
I'm gonna be honest,
They're
there
gonna
is
support
people
it.
who are
They're
really
gonna support
asking
it.
to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know. I told.
What's stopping you?
Do it.
What's stopping you?
I'm just waiting for it to grow. But I think it's time because a lot of people have reached out to me. I'm like, I did a worship night with the movement previously in the past in Hartford before.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
A lot of people came out.
what's that? No, keep going, and then I'm gonna ask this question. I was gonna say for the movement in terms of like starting. What made you start the movement? Why were you like, oh, and what gave you the movement name? Like, what was your influence?
What made you move?
What made you move? What made you move?
Remain still.
Or be moved?
Or be moved. Truthfully, the reason why I started the movement is because I never had a chance to really show what I had.
Bro, but you play drums everywhere.
That
What do you
don't
mean?
mean
What do you
nothing.
mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like people, like honestly, people were like, I was like the underdog. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying.
It's crazy because like I see what you're saying, and Cody. I forgot about Cody's existence for 4 years. Not gonna lie. I played before with him. He's played for worship nights that I've had before, and then especially like during COVID, I feel like you didn't fall off. It's more like
hiding.
you went to hiding. I didn't see Cody.
I did that
for a
I did
while.
that for a reason.
Where'd you go?
So
Where'd you
I
go?
just went into the lab. I just was working on my craft. But I would say like I'm not still an underdog. I'm saying like the people I was around, like musicians wise, singer wise, especially events, I was always an underdog. Like people always thought that like I was good, but I was never good enough to play for this or to play for that. And that always
I would have never thought that.
people wouldn't think that.
I never
That's
would have
like,
thought that.
People would be like, "What, Cody? You're capping."
I thought it was like
this-
Cody's in the room, he's playing. Like that's how I
You'd be
assumed
surprised.
it.
There's a lot of times I got called to play like one set and not the whole thing, or like they try to play like, oh, I only can play one genre of music, I can't play the other. So I'm like, I never really spoke about it,
Right.
Because it's like, what people gonna do for me,
Right.
But I'm like, so that's how everybody feels and stuff like that. So I'm like, let me go into hiding. That's when I started the movement. I was like, okay, since people don't want me to be on their platform, I'm gonna start my own platform, and I'm gonna get people like me who don't get the chance to shine.
The chance to shine and be happy.
So that's where it all.
So how'd you start it?
So I started one day. I sat in my room during COVID.
It always starts in the room, bro.
Always
I
starts
started in
in
my
the room.
room in
Shower
COVID.
thoughts.
I was just like, God, give me like a vision where like I could just give me like a vision where I could just start something that's gonna grow, and people gonna be like, wow, this is Cody. These are these people that we never gave a chance to. And that's how it started. So I was just like, the movement. That name came from, one day I was listening to a Sean Dishman song on YouTube. I think it was...
And the Sean Dishman is like a book of his.
It's a book, a Haitian book.
A Haitian songs, yeah.
I think it was... I forgot what song it was. But I think it was Honoré Puissance.
Honoré Puissance, na Jésus.
Yeah.
That's my song.
And I was like, yo, these songs really move. Like, they really like...
He said, they move. They move.
So I don't move. I'm like, yo, these songs really move. Like, they really hit. Like, these songs can move mountains. So I'm like, yo, a dope name would be...
Their movement. If you that's it.
Moves
if you that's it.
Lives.
Do you have a logo?
Yeah.
How'd you create the logo? Was it just like
I'm
Googling?
I'm gonna explain the logo.
No, actually, facts. Because I looked at the logo and I was like, this is mad random.
Listen.
I'm like, the world
the
go.
logo
No, bro, it's the world, bro. Shaped in a heart.
When I explain to you, you're gonna be like, oh, makes sense. The logo
Makes sense.
The logo is a world with a bunch of youth around it, holding hands.
You could have done like a mountain and some guy in
Moving. Nah. Here, let me hear it.
Let me hear it.
Yeah. That is also true.
So basically, like, we're all holding hands together. We're all holding hands together. And we're just we're surrounded, like we influencing the world, like we're changing the world.
Right.
That's what the logo means.
That's what's up. That's what
we move. We're never gonna remain still. We're always gonna move together on one accord.
Be still.
I'm not going left and he goes right. Jeff goes up. Jay goes down. No. We're gonna be on one accord.
That's definitely something that the movement in general, internally, externally, we're just working on moving and being able to do it on one accord professionally.
Yeah.
And personally, my goal and my visions for the movement is just seeing it grow and be able to do its thing more efficiently every time.
One thing I can say is one of my favorite Bible verses is John 13 verse 7, which basically means you never know, like, don't question God. Just be patient. He's going to take care of everything.
Trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. Because a lot of times in the movement, I'm not going to lie, I'd be confused. I'd be like, God, what are you doing? Or like, yo, this don't make no sense. But I hear him telling me, or like I have good people like Soson telling me, yo, just relax.
Just wait, bro.
Patient, just wait.
Just wait.
And with that scripture right there, if you read it,
because at the end of the day, it says, taste and see that the Lord is good.
Yep.
And once you experience his wonderfulness, his mercy, it's
How
like...
would you explain all your debt then?
No, honestly, my dad's going to get taken care of. Like, one thing I realized about working for the Lord also is, like, he's not just going to do it and you just sit there and chill. You have to put in the work.
I got to put in the work.
So,
if I tell you how much goes behind the scenes, yo, some days I don't even sleep. Sometimes he don't even sleep. He texts. It's not like he don't sleep. Jay or Jeff don't be sleeping. 1 o'clock in the morning.
Sound engineer,
we do it this.
Camera guy. Like you gotta let him know who you pointing at.
Everybody works. We all work.
Yeah. I'm texting him at 1:30, listening to the songs.
1 o'clock in the morning. Yo, I'm about to do the video right now. Or he texting me all day working. Yo, I'm about to get to the studio right now.
Facts. It is work that you have to put in.
So I hope nobody thinks it's just like
they
just see the Instagram videos, the YouTube, all the million views. This is light.
Nah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, and it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of dedication, and sometimes you have to do it out of love too. I don't have any problem going down to another city, picking up some people, or practicing the songs at 1 a.m. I'm not saying I'm gonna do that for anybody.
Wait, I got a good question.
I'm not saying, but I'm gonna do it. What's your question?
You made any sacrifices?
Duh.
What kind of sacrifices?
Oh, of course. Money sacrifices.
No.
Time sacrifices.
Money comes and goes.
Yeah, money is.
I mean, like deep sacrifices.
Like what?
Damn, I have
what?
to do this in order to make the movement move.
Make the movement move is good. Example?
Yeah, give me an example, because I can say, for example, I really made a sacrifice where it's like I had to skip.
I had to sacrifice my peace. At times, sometimes you have to put yourself in a position where it's like you have to put yourself in a position where it's like, if you aren't a part of the movement, life is going well. Like, oh, this is giving me a headache. Like, oh, I have to be at rehearsal, or I have to deal with this person. I have to deal with that. There are times, this man right here, headache, bro. I'm headache, bro. And I have to I have to sit down and say like, okay, I have an issue. I feel like this is bothering me. I'm not just gonna walk up and leave. I feel like something that, you know, this generation of Haitians are getting better and trying to work on too is the communication piece. So I'll call them up and say, yo, Cody, this is uncomfortable for me, but X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. We sit there, we talk an hour, half hour, and we good. And then we're back the next day, and the joy and happiness is there. But before that peace part where I feel like my peace is an issue, I have to sacrifice that and know it's gonna happen time and time again. But we could fix it. We could work on it.
Same.
That's definitely something
I sacrifice a lot of peace because one thing I realized being a leader is you're dealing with a lot of emotional people.
And he's one of them.
I am one of them.
I'm one of them too. Cody, what is this?
We're
bro?
all
like,
emotional. We're all. Everybody in the world's emotional.
I know. Everybody knows.
But like when you're at the top
Haitian
of the
Haitian
food
youth.
chain, worse.
Oh my god.
When you're at the top of the food chain and it's like everybody's looking at you, and it's like Cody, like hello.
Because it's a lot of pressure. You know,
pressure.
you're getting all these
And I'm
views
young,
and all of that, and
you
you're
know what I'm
young.
saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm used to just doing my own thing.
How old are you?
24.
You're 24?
Yeah.
And you started this when you were like, what, 2021?
Yeah. 2021. So it's like
What are you doing?
me leading.
Bye.
Me as a leader leading all these young people. It's like, yo, like this is like.
And it
crazy.
puts you in a
I'm like
position where
myself.
you weren't there before. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
wasn't there before.
Like
So
he
it's
said,
like-
he was an underdog. You know,
I was
at
an
some
underdog.
point. So now from underdog to leader, it takes growth and strength.
growth a
You know
lot.
what I'm saying? But it's
always
community.
remain humbled. I always stay
Always.
humble. I don't be throwing it back in people's face like, yo, look at me now. Da, da, da. Nah, they see it.
You could have had this.
And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who didn't believe in us at first.
Yeah.
Be like, what
Yeah,
they
there's gonna
doing?
be doubters,
And
yeah.
then they come back to like, yo, can I be a part of it? I'd be like, nah, we good.
Nah, we good.
We good.
Nah,
Like,
we
we
good.
good.
Nah, not. Sometimes that's life. Like, you're gonna get put in a position where you feel uncomfortable. You're gonna get put in a position where you feel annoyed. You're gonna get put in a position where you feel like things aren't going how they're supposed to be going. You're gonna be put in a position where you feel like there's always conflict, there's always tension, there's always issues. But one thing that I've realized, especially in this ministry, is just relax, calm down, do your part, and do what you got to do, and everything's gonna go pretty well.
Sounds like life.
That's
Yeah,
life.
Life.
And that's why I
just
even if you're not Christian, even if you're not Haitian, I encourage you to highly tune into the movement videos, to tune into what we're doing here, because sometimes you just have to experience something different. You know, some people do yoga, some people do that. Listening to the movement, even if you're not
You will be
Christian,
at peace.
you're gonna feel
You're gonna
peace.
feel at peace.
Facts.
Wonderful music, beautiful mix, beautiful filming,
Facts.
beautiful sound.
These are very talented, very
people.
gifted people where it's like we're just coming together to do our thing, and hopefully somebody's gonna be touched here, be touched there, be touched there. But you know, it's good. But we're gonna end on that note. We love God. We gonna end on that note.
Always move.
Be still
God is good
or be
all the
moved.
time.
Move mountains.
And tune in, subscribe, and God bless.
Nula.
That was dope. That was dope.